Going live in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We've got a lot to talk about here, and of course, there's a lot of really crazy things going on. Let me just fix this real quick so we can all hear. All right. So, first of all, Israeli military issues a full evacuation order for the Strip, and this is something that's actually been ongoing. They're basically saying, we are emptying that city. We are going to take it on. We're going to be heading in there. We're going to be clearing everything out. Staying in the city is extremely dangerous, is one of their comments. Again, Avalache Adre, spokesperson for the IDF, said on social media, because they're going to be going in eventually here, because they have been saying this for a week. They have a planned seizure of part of its military objective is to eliminate Hamas. Now, we're going to talk about many more subjects tonight, including leaders of that group getting taken out in Doha in Qatar. They actually took on one of our allies, or at least struck one of our allies, to take out the leadership. So that was one of the places the negotiation was going on. This is a really, really, really bad sign. And again, we're going to cover all of that tonight. Before we move on, I do want to remind you guys, remember we're independent. Make sure to go check out things like Jace Case. This is, of course, a kit that has all of your most commonly prescribed antibiotics. And, of course, you have tons of other add-ons that you can actually add on to that, including, of course, things like albuterol and other things. So make sure to go check it out. There is a great list of other things you can add on. Make sure to go check that out. MarfoogleNews.com/Jace, and make sure to use the code MARF, not only because it helps us, it will help you get prepared and get yourself a huge discount. All right, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
All right, so we have so many other like huge events happening all at the same time. But let's talk about the leadership that was just taken out in Doha.
So the Hamas claims the leadership survived, but the secondary leadership was taken out, at least is what they're saying. But apparently Israel carried out a strike in Qatar's capital, Doha, and they did it with nobody knowing. They just went in and did it. And when I say nobody knowing, even the U.S. didn't know until it was too late, because we obviously tried to warn the Qataris and let them know. So they said that 6 people were taken out, including one member of the Qatari security forces, which probably wasn't planned. Of course, Netanyahu calls it a surgical strike. They carried out the airstrike on a residential compound, and that, but it failed to take out what was called the negotiation team that was meeting to discuss the latest proposal. I don't know why, if they're negotiating, they would want to take that team out if they're trying to actually negotiate, but it sounds like maybe they're not. So yeah, this is kind of a weird thing when you think about it, because Israel is supposed to be a close ally of the U.S. Qatar is a very good ally of the U.S. And, you know, we just had a huge multi-billion-dollar investment plan with Qatar. Trump was over there. Didn't the plane, the new Air Force One, come from Qatar?
Yeah,
you know, things like that. So, and then out of the blue, they're getting, you know, blasted by Israel. So yeah, and we didn't know about it, apparently.
at least that's what they say, and that's the thing. That publicly, as far as the facing the world side, that's what they're stating. So that is a massive deal. And then, of course, at the same time, there's no coincidences as far as some of these stories go. Pentagon is testing the new nuclear warplane, and you'll see why. We're going to talk about this over on Marfoogle TV. There's a lot of events happening all at the same time. But they revealed the E-4C Doomsday aircraft. They just did this massive test. This is one of the craft that not only the president can run the country from, but it is one that he can run the country from while there is an EMP strike. In a significant leap forward for military aviation, the United States Air Force has begun testing the E-4C Survivable Airborne Operations Control Aircraft, a cutting-edge airborne command and control center designed to operate under the most catastrophic conditions. Remember, this is, again, this is going to be a whole lot of a step up from some of the previous versions before. Again, the new E-4C Survivable Airborne Operations Center aircraft I'm sorry, it was ended up tested, and it's undergoing a significant transformation with the testing of the new E-4C Survivable Airborne Operations Control Aircraft, or the SOAC, developed by Sierra Nevada Corporation. These flight tests are taking place at the Aviation Innovation Technology Center in Dayton, Ohio. OHIO, and then designed to function as a command and control center in the duress of circumstances. And again, this is in the worst situations in the planet, and this is getting tested now. Now, they had a date here, that 2026. I have a prediction that this is going to be done before 2026, and I have a prediction that this is going to be tested and operational very, very soon. And that should tell you something. If that ends up happening, then you should probably be looking at what's going on. Again, we've talked about so many of the different things that have been going on lately. I mean, heck, the richest and most in the know people right now are getting prepared. Meanwhile, the government's getting prepared. The corporations are getting prepared. The insurance companies are getting prepared. Yet the retail side still tells all of us to basically say, hey, don't worry about it. Sorry, I just don't believe it. And then again, Dex, with this aircraft up in the sky, this is something that once they have this new one out, they're going to be able to survive all sorts of other situations. Obviously, EMP is something that they've worked on for a very long time. That's nothing new. But as far as some of the other things this plane has, most of it is top secret.
Well, of course, and I think it's about time they get some new technology. Imagine how much old technology they've had to rely on just to maintain some semblance of safety against an EMP. Where with the newer technology and the newer capabilities, even like the fast sight shield technology we see in EMP shield, that newer stuff where you can ground things out and protect electronic equipment and electronic wires. Certainly can bring about greater innovation in the air and what we can do, as opposed to our older systems that have been up there. So I know the older systems are all analog. Probably these newer systems got a lot of new digital stuff that they can probably do a heck of a lot more with, not just in aviating the plane, but in capabilities of detection, monitoring, and other command and control operations.
And one of the significant challenges faced by SNC is hardening the aircraft to withstand radiation and electromagnetic pulses. This involves adding specialized communications antennas, computers, mission systems to ensure the aircraft can operate in hostile environments. One question I had is, I always believed that the old, mobile command center, the Doomsday plane, that was always that was something that it worked on too. But I wonder, the way that they've emphasized that this is one of their biggest challenges is, are they stepping it up so much that they know about a threat that's greater than what the previous one would do, and how it would even be a challenge, since this is something that they should have had for a long time. Also, if they make an illustration of this Boeing, and I don't know who did this illustration. Let me see who did this. But it straight up shows, I bet they just did AI, and that's so stupid. I mean, like, Dex, seriously, it's got super, like, 20-foot antennas sticking out the top. I just wonder if they did AI.
Like,
on
those
that.
are like they slap cell towers on top of a Boeing plane. That's what they are.
And I was thinking, that aerodynamic.
Put some 10G on there. Yeah, silly. But no. On a serious note, though, thinking back to the fact that space and the innovation that's going on right now with the Golden Dome, electronic warfare, and everything even coming from the sky and up in space, it becomes one of probably the most advanced areas, especially with the Space Force now, for America. So it is the biggest target for adversaries, which is why Russia has been blamed recently for investing heavily in putting more nukes or nuclear capability into space, because they see it as a threat. When something goes down, they're going to have to wipe out our satellites. And when they wipe out our satellites, the fastest, easiest, quickest way to do that is with a nuke, which is also going to create an electromagnetic pulse in the area in which it goes off. So, which will be a very large area when it's detonated that high in space.
Yeah, so something tells me that they are actually trying to prepare for some of these things and mighty quick. So again, we'll follow this and many others.
Yeah. And Adam, it used to just be, we would think about EMP. It was like, oh, well, strategically, could they take out our power, right? Now it's like they don't. It's not even do they care about the powers? Do they care about our space capability, and can they wipe it all out quickly? Right, and that's what I think we see a greater threat to EMP is that the power is becoming a secondary issue because the primary target is Space Force.
Yeah, and and that's why we keep seeing all of these stories about how they're quickly coming up with different things to essentially, sidestep all of the satellites, GPS. I mean, we just covered a story just a few days ago that said that they are essentially trying to replace the GPS with a new technology on the ground that will be able to take the momentum of the Earth or something else. And I was trying to look up more about how to understand this thing. I forget what it was called. Dex, do you remember what the actual system was called that was going to try to, in an emergency, be used instead of GPS? I forget what that was called, but it was a brand new system, and they're trying to come up with this technology.
No, I can't remember it, but it was some sort of beacon system.
Yeah, so it measures the time
radars
of vehicles traveling or something, and
yeah, there was time based and positioning and knowing from a beacon where your position is and measuring distance and time traveled, and then the other one was using the magnetic frequencies and positioning of Earth against a magnetic map.
Well, we're going to be covering a whole lot worse than this over on Marfoogle TV. Again, this all fits right into the puzzle. Make sure to join us over there in just a moment. We're going to be covering all of the rest, and we're going to be talking about the fact that the Pentagon is not only preparing for war. We're going to talk about a lot in the next show. It is titled, "This is not a drill." Pentagon, this is not a drill, so make sure to follow us over there. We'll see you in just a moment. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.